Welcome into K-State Online. I am Mason Voth. That is Drew Galloway. Monday, September 15th. Only one of us got to experience a win in football this week. Is it really a win when you let Russell Wilson throw for 400 yards or whatever against you? Probably not.
Is it really a win if you had to FaceTime the other person to actually see it?
Yeah, that was, we were getting two different Foxes there on Sunday, and Drew is getting to see all of overtime for the Cowboys and Giants. Meanwhile, I was trying to, find somebody that was, being naughty and streaming it on YouTube or something, because I'm not going to go to one of the illegal streaming sites. But if somebody wants to be dumb enough to try it on YouTube, I'll watch it for a little bit. Or whatever else. So then I reverted to listening to the Cowboys radio broadcast on my phone, which, let me tell you, I know they're icons, Hank and Babe. I know when it's a good game though, you're kind of like, I don't know that I want to listen to these guys just mumble along here. The Compass Media national broadcast of Cowboys games on the radio is just horrible now. I mean, I don't know what's happened there. Ted Emmerich, who does some Big 12 games. I've never listened to him do football before, but then yesterday hearing him do football on the radio, I was like, this guy can't do it. Like, I think he was doing the play-by-play after the plays had ended, where it was just so drawn out, and it's like, oh, this guy, he gained 25 yards on that play, and you didn't even know it. You got lulled to sleep. But yeah, I FaceTimed Drew, and I showed him the Chiefs game. He showed me the winning kick for the Cowboys. So what a day. What a horrible weekend, though, for most people enjoying football in the state of Kansas, because K-State lost again to Arizona. We talked about it late Friday night into Saturday morning for you with the KSO postgame show. We had a lot of things to say there. We've had all of our postgame thoughts come out in writing as well. As we sit here now on Monday, Drew, are there any lingering thoughts that you are still trying to piece together or want to throw out there?
Honestly, I've just been racking my brain of like, how in the world did we get here? Like it is like a laundry list of things that, like, when we mapped out like worst case scenario, it was, maybe the O-line isn't very good to begin the year, but like they have enough pieces that like we think that they could still be able to run the ball a little bit. It's the secondary might not be very good to begin the year, but we think that there's enough guys on the defensive line that like it will be okay. And maybe you just get a lot of pressure, and that's a reason. But to help the secondary, but instead it's just like the defensive line has been kind of underwhelming of late. The secondary was actually really good against Arizona if you really go back and look. But the offensive line is such a problem that I don't know. You could put Barry Sanders back there, and I don't think that anything is going for positive yards in the run game. The running backs don't even get a pass for me because they can't break a tackle. Like Dylan Edwards had the first broken tackle by a K-State running back, and it took 4 games to get there. The receivers, Jace Brown has been awesome. Jerron Tibbs has flashed. Jaron Bradley has flashed. But they didn't really do much outside of Jace Brown Friday night. Avery Johnson has had moments where he's been awesome, but was really bad Friday night. Like everything that could possibly go wrong, it feels like, has gone wrong. Like to the point where, I just talked about Jaron Bradley. He's really turned back the clock to like 2021. Jaron Bradley was awesome for 2.5 games, and then makes a crazy catch, which I still think is a catch and a touchdown. It comes back for an incompletion. He gets hurt on the play and is now going to miss multiple weeks. Like anything that you could possibly think that has gone wrong has gone wrong. And like one of the things that everybody had like such a question about, the kicking game, Luis Rodriguez has been awesome. He's been probably the best player.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Luis Rodriguez. I asked Chris Kleiman after the game, like, was there any thought to sending him out there for a couple of those little deeper ones in the game, and they said no because they thought going that way may have been tougher on them. I don't know. I'm not a kicker. I can't speak to if that was sound logic or not, but based on what we saw from the offense on Friday, which was that they weren't going to do really anything on their own. They scored on a 75-yard touchdown run, kind of a gimmicky play that just confused Arizona. You can't run those all the time because if you could, then that's probably what K-State needs to be doing to move the ball. And then they had a really short field that they made even longer by backing themselves up into a 3rd and 16 that they had to have. And Avery Johnson hit Jace Brown on it, and they did eventually score, even though I know that some people debate maybe what the replay shows on that play. Like, offense is hard to come by. We talked so much about it the first few weeks. Lean on what is doing well for you when you get the chance, even if it's a tougher situation. And on Friday night, I would have leaned on Luis Rodriguez to really push it because just think of what we witnessed in the NFL over the weekend is all these teams saying we're going to give it to our kicker right here. Like, kicks are being made at a level and at distances that are out of the ordinary for anything that we've seen prior to the last year, basically. Not just in the NFL, but college kickers have gotten to a stage where, like, they're pretty darn impressive. And you see a lot of guys that go up there and you're like, this is automatic. Now, some people have a kicker like Tennessee, and it's not so automatic.
Or Arizona's.
Yeah, or Arizona's. Yeah. Boy, thank goodness he didn't boot a couple of those through. It would not have been as close on Friday.
But Luis Rodriguez's kicks, the 51-yarder that he made would have been good from 55, 56.
Interesting, because I think one of those situations I'm talking about could have been a 56-yard field goal. So
it wouldn't have hurt. And with what we saw from the offense, it wouldn't have hurt. But yeah, the scoring drives, a 4-play, negative 10-yard drive, if you want to call it that, where you kick a field goal. The Jace Brown trick play, whatever, that is like more of the creative things that Matt Wells has done that I've actually enjoyed, has been, they're getting the ball to their playmakers more with the ball in their hands. Like Jace Brown, with how bad the running game is right now, should be getting multiple carries a game. I mean, he busted the longest run of the day against Iowa State and Ireland, and then had a 75-yard run against Arizona. Also, I think he had a 20-plus yard run against Rutgers in the Rate Bowl. Like, give him the ball more. And then they made it way too tough on themselves after the blocked punt. And that's where I go back to the sequence of play calling has been more of my gripe. What do you and I love to do in you get a turnover or a crazy play happens, defensively or special teams? What do we like to call?
As in the very next play?
Yes.
We like to get aggressive. We like to take a shot.
What did K-State do after the blocked punt?
They were not very aggressive.
They ran the ball and lost yards. That is a problem. That's one where you get the blocked punt. You weren't expecting to get the ball in that situation. Number one, you probably should have gotten the ball either with 17-12 as the score, or it should have been 17-17 and Arizona gets the ball back. Fluky play that the ref ends up knocking it back.
Yeah, that was.
But that is the situation where if you're gonna take a shot, take a shot. You got the ball at the 16-yard line.
I think that might be one of the bigger concerns about the way that Chris Kleiman and Matt Wells are managing games right now, is that it feels like they only have forced aggression. So yeah, you kind of have to go for it on 4th down right here. So you have to throw it like that, or go for it. Or like on that drive that you're talking about, they got backed up to 3rd and 16. So they had to make an aggressive throw to Jace Brown to have a chance to score a touchdown still. And guess what? It worked out. I think that's where they're just everybody and everything involved with this program right now is just so lost. They don't know where to go to. And I think you see it with Avery Johnson at quarterback in terms of the decision-making that he has out there, the decisions that are being given to him and that he's being told to make out there, I think are confused because you don't have a run game. Your offensive line's terrible. You're getting nothing positive out of the tight ends. And all those people involved, they also have a role in this. Like Matt Wells is not good right now. Avery Johnson is not good right now. Like, and so when you get into that, everybody's second guessing. Then you start to go, I don't trust that. I'm going to go do this. And it just, there's no aggression on this team whatsoever. And that's a big problem. And if you just come out and you play aggressive and you know you're going to do that, then you probably don't have as many, dropped interceptions against North Dakota or whatever, because you're playing just more confident. And we've seen that at times that when Avery Johnson gets into a flow and is playing confidently, then it looks good. You're not concerned about things. But too many times over the last 9 games, everything just feels a little shaky and like everybody's on pins and needles involved in this.
And that's also like where I push back, because a lot of national media people are starting to really push this narrative of like, why isn't Avery running more? He's been a disaster running the ball the last 9 games. Like, the designed runs are not good right now with him. He is not playing fast enough. He's not playing aggressive enough. I mean, we talked about it a lot actually during the KSO Classics of like the L. Roberson comps. And L in 03 knew really when to run, and 02 it was a little bit more hesitant. He's still very hesitant in the run game of like hitting the hole. Like even in the Arizona game, like they had, I think, 3 or 4 designed quarterback runs, and he didn't look very confident on any of them. And like that is a bigger overarching issue of like, yes, he has special legs and is very, very fast, but he doesn't play near as fast as he is. He is kind of the equivalent of like what VJ Payne is doing on defense. Both of those guys are very, very fast, very football smart, but they are not playing smart and not playing very fast right now. And that is probably the biggest issue on the team right now, because that's supposed to be 2 of your 4 best players aren't playing very fast, aren't playing very smart with how they're playing fast. Like you're not really getting a lot out of the run game with Avery, which is why, like, until he proves that he can run the ball effectively on a designed run or pops off like another big scramble, but he isn't even really scrambling much, why are you even calling a designed quarterback run?
So that's where I think some people get caught up and confused, where you can criticize Avery Johnson, the runner, is that he's not doing the scrambling. Because right now it can be argued based off the performances that we're seeing from receivers not named Jace Brown and tight ends or running backs. Why would you try throwing to these guys? They're not doing anything positive for you. So if you have guaranteed yards that you can pick up, go when it's there. Absolutely go when it's there. That's the other thing that you witness, like quarterbacks that can run that do it, or quarterbacks that aren't true runners that are doing it. Like I saw Patrick Mahomes run a bunch yesterday because it was given to him and it was there and it worked out.
And because nobody was getting open and he didn't really trust anybody.
And guess what Patrick Mahomes can't do? He can't trust his offensive line. He can't even trust his tight ends anymore. Can't trust his receivers because they're all bums. And his running backs, the Chiefs are just cool with not having a good running back on the roster. Like he's taken off when the opportunity's there to set up the field goals and stuff yesterday in that Cowboys game. Dak Prescott ran at the end of the game because it was there. He took what was given to him. And you want to talk about like getting smacked in the face with evidence on why you take what you can get. It's what Army did to K-State. Now, not in the same way, but they were content getting right around 3 yards a carry because they could get that every single time. And you know what? 3 yards times 4 downs equals, Drew?
A first down.
Yeah, exactly. That's 12.
And there are a lot of points where Avery Johnson, because of how special his legs are and how fast he is, if he was more decisive on when he took off and was decisive on like where he wanted to go when he took off, those 3-4 yard gains that most quarterbacks would get are like 10 yards for him.
And so then that ties into he needs to scramble more. And it goes back. That goes to what we talked about during KSO Classic. Michael Bishop, L. Roberson, dudes that said, I saw it, I took it. Avery Johnson doesn't do that. So you can criticize Avery Johnson for that. What isn't on Avery Johnson is when a designed run fails. Now, part of it is on him, but you look at how the play works out, offensive line's doing nothing there. Anybody that has to block on those, not helping you at all. Like, it's just a failure from the start. And almost his aggressiveness or belief in his ability to run the ball leads to doubling down on lost yardage on those plays, or, and the situations where he's taking the intentional groundings. Like, that's the same type of philosophy there, where he's tried to keep a play alive too long and doesn't realize I need to kill it right here. That's where, like, there's such a disconnect. Matt Wells got to stop calling design runs. Avery Johnson has to be aggressive and take off when it's there for a scramble opportunity. And I think if that happened, like, K-State probably does have, they probably do have one of those losses back at the very least. And it goes back to the aggressive thing. I don't think that there are a lot of guys on this team that you can use the word aggressive to describe them.
Yeah, and that is like the biggest, probably the biggest issue is that they aren't very aggressive right now when it's not like forced. And whatever, I'm very on the side of the Trace Spivey, Logan Bartley targeting. I don't know what Logan Bartley is supposed to do there as a defender, but like the fact that was the most emotion that anybody has shown in the first half of a game all season, it is a problem. Like, that to me is like the biggest issue of like what is happening mentally and like aggression wise for K-State.
Yeah.
Is that a true freshman lighting somebody up and getting kicked out has been the most amped up I've seen a K-State player in a little bit.
Or Omarion Fortenberry. We have two examples now where he had one pass breakup against North Dakota that still sticks out to me because we don't see enough guys doing it. And then he had the big hit on the punt block that took place on Friday. And that guy has gone 2 straight games without a defensive snap. The defense and anything on this team is not so good right now that you can just be like, oh yeah, we can't trust this guy out there. Because it's one thing if he's not playing at all, but he's out there on special teams, so he's not doing anything wrong enough to where he can't play. It's time to start putting guys out there that look like they might have something to do, because you're 1-3. This thing's going to hell. Like, it's not coming back. We can tell by the way it's looked like it's over with for this team. So you have to try and do the things that can maybe give you the opportunity to have that, oh, wow, it just all clicked and we made some things happen and it fell our way here. And guys like that, you're going to have a better chance of it happening than throwing dudes out there that are just kind of nonchalant. Okay, whatever, oh, yeah, I got to make this play. Oh, I got to go do that. And that's what this feels like right now. I don't feel like there's a lot of aggression or a lot of fire from anybody on this team, but we'll see. And I don't think we're the only ones that feel that way. It would appear that former players feel that way too. There have been a number of them that have come out of the woodwork in the last couple of weeks with their thoughts publicly about this team. We'll discuss that on tomorrow's KSO show, but we'll get out of here. Quick show today. A lot of stuff for you to read, to catch up over the weekend over at KStateOnline.com. So for Drew Galloway, I'm Mason Voth. Thanks for watching and listening to the KSO show.